Hi, I'm Alex Smikefucker, also known as Kinda Cool Alex, spelled with underscores and a 3 instead of an E because I'm a nerd, and that's what nerds do. Also, they are underscores instead of spaces, so kinda underscore cool underscore score Alex. That is because I am kinda cool Alex, not really Alex, not really cool Alex, but kinda cool Alex. So that's kind of cool, Alex, with a 3 instead of an E in Alex. So Al3x's, in a way, I guess. And that's on YouTube. And Alchemist underscore Alex on Twitch, although I will be changing that name from Twitch to kind of cool Alex. So just that way, they're all the same username. I wanted to start this podcast as a way to teach different ways of growing on Twitch and a few tips and tricks I've learned along the way. I'm in no way a top streamer, and that's a disclaimer. And actually, I have 200 something followers. That's not a lot on Twitch. That's not a lot at all. So just as a disclaimer, but I did want to do this podcast just as a create a space to talk about different methods and approaches to streaming, and to really answer a fundamental question, which is, what game should I stream on Twitch? Because as a new streamer, it can be difficult to get views, but depending on the game you play and stream on Twitch or other platforms such as Mixer, YouTube, Facebook Gaming, it can give you a better chance of being seen depending on the game that you play. I'll also talk about things that you can do to improve your chances of getting viewers after you pick the game. So without further delay, I'll get right into it. And this is the first episode of the podcast. We'll see just how far I can get and how deep we can get into this question of finding viewers on, finding viewers on Twitch. And when I say Twitch, I mean really any streaming platform. So the method number 1, which is I call the 20 viewer rule. The 20 viewer rule is simple, and although it says 20, I say 20 viewer rule, you don't actually need to have 20 viewers for this rule. Now I'll get into that a little bit. When you're deciding which game to stream, find a couple of games that you enjoy out of those games. People say that you want to start out not as a variety streamer, but playing one game. So that's why I say find one game that you can find yourself, a game that you enjoy. Excuse me, one game that you find yourself enjoy, and go to each one of those games on Twitch and find the row that has 20 or so viewers. So if you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page to get to the row that has starting to have 20 viewers, that's oversaturated, and you want to move on to the next game. So say you find a game that you really enjoy playing, and the 20 viewers are in the channel, and it's like on the second row of the game. That's a good one. That's what you want to shoot for, from 1 to 4 or 5 rows. If the 20 viewer channel is somewhere on 1 through 5, it's pretty good. It's a good choice. Maybe 1 through 3. But now, because it's important for that, because when somebody clicks on that game, they'll see you right away, and they won't have to scroll all the way down to find you. So again, you don't need to have 20 viewers for this. I'll get into that a little bit here. So finding viewers for the 20 view rule, I'm going to explain how you could kind of start getting those viewers. And Twitter, for example, all social media platforms, is really useful for this. But for Twitter, I see problems on Twitter where people will just say, well, I'm live, come watch me. well, that's not enough incentive. I think it's important to post reasons and showcase and to incentivize people to click on your stream when you say you're going live. And so I suggest doing short gameplay footage, for example, or Instagram yourself. It's going to sound silly, but Instagram, right? Post a picture of Instagram of yourself in some sort of cosplay from the game that you play. Instagram is really useful for photos and stories and things like that. And so if you post yourself in cosplay from a game, right, you can actually see that right now in what I'm wearing. This is a really easy thing. This is just a hoodie, and has the side. It's the anime Full Metal Alchemist, and so that's really easy. So when I go on, it's not like I have to make this huge elaborate costume to cosplay. So when I go on Twitch, although tags aren't really utilized all that well on Twitch, when I do go on Twitch, I'll put in the tag section anime and cosplay. So that's 2 extra things that people might find me from. Like, oh, he's wearing a hoodie from Full Metal Alchemist. I might enjoy this stream, right? So just kind of think outside the box and utilize the tags that are on Twitch. I also have an example of showcasing what I would tweet when I go live. And this is kind of a dumb thing, kind of silly, but this is just an example from this is just a video. So let me pull this video up and then.
Oh come on! Oh come on! I was totally avoiding that.
Of course, that's my sound. So just change this really quick here. Put on my headphones, my other pair of headphones, so just so that you are, make sure this is the right video. Right, okay, so this is me playing Diablo 3, and bear with me as I pull this up here. So this is a video. I've just defeated the Butcher, which is a boss in Diablo 3.
Oh come on! Oh come on! I was totally avoiding that. Wow.
Prepare to be sit back to Fortnite from whence you came.
Wow.
Ready, Alex? Finish them off.
Wow, anime bot, savage. Knocking on Fortnite.
So yeah, it's kind of silly, but it's just like a dumb little video of me playing this audio file that I use when I defeat bosses, and it's or if I defeat somebody online, which is really cool because then I can be like, hey chat, here's me gloating and me bragging that I defeated this real life person instead of an AI, and then just playing that stupid little audio file. In fact, I think I've got it.
Prepare to be sit back to Fortnite from whence you came. Ready, Alex? Finish them off.
Right, so you didn't actually need the video. That's the file that I play. I've got a whole bunch of them, and so yes, I'm kind of an anime nerd, as you can tell with the Full Metal Alchemist hoodie and this voice that's kind of an anime voice, and I have a voice actress that I got to use her anime voice, and I'll link to her in this video, in the description of the video. But she recorded herself in this anime voice, and I've got a whole bunch of them, and it's just a way to think outside the box, so that when someone says, "Oh, hey, this person, Alchemist Alex or kind of cool Alex is live right now. What does he have to offer for me to click on his stream?" And they see this video and it's an anime, what else? I mean, that they might say, "Oh, wow, cool, I'm an anime fan too. I'll click on the stream and see what else he has to offer." So I did want to say the 20 viewer rule will differ from platform to platform. So that's to say, Twitch might not. Twitch might have, I don't know, Diablo 3 as. If you click on Diablo 3 in Twitch, you might see the 20 viewer channel right when you see the rows with the 20 viewers starting, 20 or so starting. That might be the second row, but on Mixer, Diablo 3 might be a dead game. So it will vary from platform to platform, and so that's kind of my suggestion, is that you just find some kind of thing to showcase your stream and not just say, "Hey, I'm live." And so method number 2 for starting out is mobile games are actually really popular, I find, for smaller streamers and channels. And I'd suggest finding a free game on your phone that you enjoy and stream until you are consistently getting around 20 or so viewers, or whatever goal you have. It doesn't have to be 20, like I said. It can be 10 or 15, 5, whatever it is. And so for me, Summoner's War is a mobile game that I find has quite a bit of viewers and not a lot of channels. So that's actually one category you could stream that's not oversaturated. The problem is, if you enjoy mobile games, right? Do you enjoy the grind of mobile games? If you do, then yeah, Summoner's War I think is great. There's a lot in Summoner's War, and it's kind of all over my head. And I also find with mobile games is that there's a lot of loyal fan base, like a big loyal fan base for mobile games, and it's because it seems like every time I go on and I stream that mobile game, those same viewers come back, and they also are good at chatting, I think. One thing you have to remember is that people will always say things like, "Well, you have to talk to yourself if you're streaming, so that way if somebody does come in and they see you're already interactive and you're not just sitting there playing your game, that they're likely to stick around knowing that you are interactive already." And so but you don't have to talk to yourself if you've got a chat, and that's why chat's kind of good to have if you're not good at talking to yourself too, or if you run out of things to say. You can repeat things because you don't know who's coming in and out of your stream and what people may have heard and what people may not have heard, so you can repeat yourself, talking to yourself, right? But it's kind of listing the same points, or like I said, just having a chat is helpful because that kind of creates more conversation and more content. But so I find that mobile gamers, viewers in the mobile game community, I suppose, they're good at chatting. They seem to always have something to say, and you can always ask questions. A lot of times mobile games can be kind of complicated too. There's like a lot with the grinding and events and this sort of stuff, so you can always ask questions, and your chat is more likely to respond and get them talking that way. And so once you get enough followers and viewers, consistent viewers in that mobile game, you can slowly start to transition into the game, that 20 viewer game, the one that 20 viewer row that is 1 to 3 on that game. And so I guess I could, just to make sure, I want to use that you understand, I will pull this up just to make sure, just so you can see. So this is Summoner's War Sky Arena right now. So this is kind of an example, right? You've got 114 viewers, but like you got 439 viewers, and if I scroll down, actually that's all, right? So this is a good example, and this is a mobile game. So you got 114, then it drops down to 72, and then drops down to 54, 51, 40, but then the 20. Here's the 28. So here's the 20 row right here, 28, 24. So if you come and you're consistently getting 20, you'd be on the second row. You'd be right between these two people. And then people are more likely to see that and click on you. And so that's what I mean for 20 viewers, 20 viewer row. So you can slowly transition into that game. So that was a mobile game, so it's kind of the opposite. That's starting out is that game, but say that's a different game that you really enjoy. Slowly start moving your viewers, your mobile game viewers, to that 20 viewer game, and then you'll get even more viewers and followers from that game, and that way you don't have to always be playing that one mobile game unless you really enjoy it. But if you want to transition to a more serious game, and you're not going to get to the Fortnite or the League of Legends quite yet, but it's a start. And so that brings me to the third point that I'd like to make, which is the single player method. Oftentimes single player games fizzle out, and this is where you come in. This is our opportunity. This is a lot of real estate, because once the big streamers will stream the anticipated single player games on release day, and then they'll never play it ever again, or they'll play for a week or a month or whatever, and after that, once it's done, that's all those viewers are now for you. And as long as there's still hype around the game, you can grab that real estate, that single player real estate. And so say you're kind of kidding around 20 viewers for the mobile game, and there's a big single player game coming out, and once those big streamers stop streaming that game, you can slowly transition your 20 or so, whatever your goal is, again, viewers to that single player game once the big streamers kind of stop that playing the single player game. And so I'd suggest streaming one of those games, single player. Example would be The Last of Us, or The Last of Us 2 is coming out. So as of right now, which is February 2020, or Last of Us Part 2, and so once those streamers stop playing that, there you go, play that. You see this also in the form of Temtem, right? Although it's not single player, release date, Temtem had a lot of viewers. It was on the first or second or third row on Twitch, and right now it's kind of dipped down, allowing you to possibly get some viewers. Also, I showed you a video from Diablo 3. Diablo 3, I think it has a good amount of viewers and not as many channels. It also is a good 20 rule game where viewers there aren't like 1,000 viewers and then 500 and then 200. It's the 20 viewer row starts pretty soon on games like Diablo 3. So that's it. This is actually a redone episode of my first podcast. First episode of my podcast here, just explaining, like I said, opening a space to ask questions and ideas and formulate ideas and talking about streaming. And so I actually already recorded just the podcast. I was doing the podcast and I forgot to actually hit the record button on here, so I'm going to do what I'm planning on doing is doing the podcast but also the video along with it. So hopefully episode 2 of the podcast will be just this, will be one recording instead of the audio, and then whoops, I forgot to record the video. So yeah, I may also record episodes where I review games, specific individual games, on whether or not they're good to stream or not. But anyways, that's that. Peace out.